OpenAI just announced that they are going to acquire OpenClaw. 2026 is going to be the year for agents, and this just proved everything. You think you've been seeing OpenClaw all over your timeline, all over your Twitter, all over your YouTube. You haven't seen anything yet. Things are about to get absolutely crazy and probably a lot easier for the average person to use. I want to dive into the exact announcement in this video, talk about where this shakes things up. As somebody who's been using OpenClaw pretty much since day one, give a lot of my thoughts, but let's get in the meat and potatoes. I'll show you the announcement and then we'll dive right into it. This is Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, and he announced just 3 hours from the time of making this video on February 15th for me. Peter Steinberg, which is the founder of OpenClaw, is joining OpenAI to drive the next generation of personal agents. He is a genius with a lot of amazing ideas about the future of very smart agents interacting with each other to do very useful things for people. We expect this will quickly become a core to our product offerings. This is huge. I want to talk a lot about this in a few minutes. OpenClaw will live in a foundation as an open source project that OpenAI will continue to support. The future is going to be extremely multi-agent, and it's important for us to support open source as part of that. This is significant, and a lot of people are pointing out this is a huge ball drop for Anthropic because people were using Anthropic's API, spending millions of dollars across the board on Anthropic. And the CEO of OpenClaw basically answered saying that the only thing they got from Anthropic was love letters from legal. In other words, I guess people were probably putting in their Anthropic keys into their OpenClaw, which, by the way, my last video was on, and they were trying to get Peter to basically, stop taking their business. Well, OpenAI came and swooped in. You have other people on the team as well down here. Fijio Simo, CEO of applications at OpenAI, basically just saying, welcome, Peter, can't wait to build with you. And I'll say from my time of reading all this stuff, Peter is a stand-up guy. This guy literally, even Nikita Bear posted about this, he could have claimed like hundreds of thousands of dollars, at least over six figures, in crypto tokens that were launched from his products, and he just never did because he didn't want to come off as endorsing, he didn't want to come off as any type of way, so he literally just left that hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table because he's a stand-up guy. And he constantly, all of his posts are just like pushing out updates for OpenClaw. So I think this is a huge move for not only OpenClaw, for Peter Steinberg, which, by the way, we don't know exactly how much he sold it for. Likely, probably in the 8 figures. But the fact that he just launched this, within the last few months, the idea probably came up in the last year and was able to do all of that in such a short time span. Like, hats off to you, Peter Steinberg, for that, Peter Steinberger. With all that being said, I really want to just hone in on OpenClaw, why I think it's important, how I think it's going to integrate with OpenAI, and kind of just the future moving forward after this massive announcement. So let's take a look at a few of those things. So if you don't know what OpenClaw is, I'm surprised you even made it this far in the video, but OpenClaw essentially is this autonomous agent that you're able to just to tell to go do things, and it goes and does them. And with this, you can connect it to anything. A lot of people use Telegram. I use Telegram. And it kind of builds out, you can get it to build out a mission board. My prompt for this basically was, being as I'm hosting it on a VPS, not on my computer, I'm using Notion for this. And it shows like my model that I'm using, which is Opus 4. It shows I have another model, which is OpenAI, my runtime. It shows like basically what I'm running on, which I'll probably blur that out when I actually do the video. You can do so many things with this thing. I mean, I really use mine a lot for content, even this video particularly, and I'll actually show you the agent real quick. So here's my OpenClaw. His name is Marvin, and that's inspired by Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, by the way. And when I told him his name was Marvin, he went and read about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and embodied Marvin into his soul to where he could act like Marvin if I wanted him to, but I want to be a little bit more optimistic. Other things it can do is, there was an update right before this video, like an hour, and I said, hey, can you update yourself? Sure, I'll upgrade to this version. And then boom, it updated 676 packages. It took 75 seconds. It restarted its gateway, and then boom, the newest version of OpenClaw is running. This thing can literally do whatever I tell it to. Matter of fact, I'll show you in real time. Let's go with like, I'm making a video on, and it kind of knows this because I asked it, like I even told it like this, what's happening, and I asked it for angles on like, where this could be like really exciting if I did a video on it, like which angle I should take. So let's go with like, I'm making a video on letting people know you were acquired. can you generate a fitting image for them? And so like you might be thinking like, yeah, I can use my like free version of ChatGPT to like, you know, do images. The difference here is I can put in the Gemini's API, I can put in ChatGPT's API, I can do free ones, I can do Olama, I can do it straight from my computer, I can do whatever I want. It calls literally anything that it has. And if it doesn't have it, I could say, hey, go look online for a way that you can generate images and do it. Or if I wanted to build a website, I'll say, hey, go online and build a website, help me find a domain, and, you know, do whatever you can do. And it will do everything it can possibly try to do for free. And of course, if there ends up being anything for cost, like I have to go in and pay for it. But it will try to find all the ways to do it. I did a video on Cedence 2.0, which is that video generator that everybody's using to make these like full out anime scenes that are really awesome. And that day, just to figure out how to get access, I asked my OpenClaw to figure it out. And it figured out a way for me to get access to it for free, by the way, the first day that really nobody was using it. So, I mean, the agents are like only as smart as the person prompting them. So it responded with an image based off of a professional tech acquisition. Obviously, I can make this a lot better. I'm not here to showcase how good this can be because it can call literally any model. Right now, I just have it calling DALL-E 3, ChatGPT's model, but again, it could call all of them and work together. Also, while I was doing that, I went ahead and did another thing. I said, can you do a quick search on YouTube and see if anyone covered this announcement and the angle they took from the title? And it said, good news, you might be the first. So honestly, there might not be anybody on YouTube yet that's talked about it in this way, but if there was, they would talk about it. They showed me that they tried TechCrunch, that they tried The Verge, and Twitter and Reddit are blocked, access denied. That's a whole other topic for another day. But it gave me some, you know, angles that I could take. You know, do I go with OpenAI's secret acquisition? Do I go with why OpenAI just bought this unknown AI company? The future of AI agents is here. There's so many other angles I could take on this. I don't feel like I've done the best job at convincing you on why agents are the future. There are people doing a lot cooler things. There are people making like full out web functional businesses just off of saying, hey, you know, go do this to my agent. And then these things make sub agents. I watched a video the other day where somebody had 25 sub agents working at all times. But I hope I gave you at least a starter pack of kind of what's to come in the future. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this. If you're not using OpenClaw and you want to, I don't want this to be a how to download OpenClaw video. That's not what this is about. But just to kind of give you how to do it, if you go to @OpenClaw, you literally go to their website. There is one line of code that you run here. Now for the quick start. With that being said, there is a million reasons why you don't want to do this on your main computer, security-wise. You don't want an AI agent having access to everything on your computer. You just don't. So the two ways that people do it is the Mac Mini route, which you can literally use anything. Use a Raspberry Pi, it's like $75. You use any computer that you don't care about as much, and you go to your actual, like you literally just type in terminal, whatever that is. It depends if you're on Windows or you're on Mac, and you paste this. You Control-C it here, and then you Control-V it over there, or I guess if you're on Mac, it'd be different controls. It will download itself, and the rest is super explanatory. And if you want me to do a full video on that, I will. I'm using a VPS, but if you're doing a VPS, you want to be super safe and nerdy with like the technical stuff because you don't want to expose yourself because people target VPSs. So if you don't lock down that security, then people are going to target your online virtual machine that you're using and try to do something malicious for it. Because at the end of the day, if you're telling your OpenClaw to do all this stuff, it could accidentally download something malicious. You could see something you think is really cool, and it could have what's called a prompt injection, and it could do something malicious on your computer. There's a million ways this could go wrong. I don't recommend it. I recommend doing this the smart way, using a device you don't care about, or if you really want to go down the VPS route, it's like less than $10 a month. You figure that whole route out. Again, I can do a video on that later, but I don't want to do this video talking about all this and not at least show you how to do one right now. When ChatGPT acquires this, or when OpenAI acquires this, I imagine it's going to be way more simple, as it's in the early stages right now, and I do believe in staying ahead of the early stages. But I think once this is acquired in a couple of months, it's probably going to be a tab on OpenAI that you click, and then it prompts you through the rest of the process. But as of right now, this is the process. If you enjoyed this style of content, please give me a like, a subscribe, do all those social media things that I hate asking for, but I have to just to remind you so you don't click off this video and go to the next thing. Thank you for watching. If you made this entire video, I love you. I hope you have an amazing day. Peace out.